Welcome to the Safe Money Retirement Show with your host, Tim Wood. Tim is a retirement and income specialist, certified financial fiduciary, and the founder of SafeMoneyRetirement.com. Tim primarily serves Western North Carolina, East Tennessee, and Southwest Virginia, but he's sought after nationally for his expertise in helping people secure their retirements. Mr. Wood is a licensed life insurance professional in multiple states and specializes in working with people who are near retirement and those who have already retired with wealth management, income planning, and asset protection strategies using life, health, long-term care, and annuity insurance products. And now, here to talk with you about securing your retirement, your host, Tim Wood.
Hello, this is Tim Wood, your host, welcoming you to the Safe Money Retirement Show. I'm an asset and retirement protection specialist and your one-stop source for capital preservation and strategic income planning. I was recently going back through a lot of information and paperwork that I had from old meetings from years ago. You know, sometimes you go through all that stuff. And I found an article from back in 2018 that I thought was so good, I wanted to bring it back up again. So we're going to discuss that really quick today. First, if you don't already have a copy of my book, Safe Money Retirement, Your Game Plan for Success, please give us a call right now. We will send you a copy, absolutely no charge and no obligation. This is our way to help our listeners understand what options there are out there, that you really can get a guaranteed income you or your spouse can't outlive, that you really can have growth with no losses, that all these things really are possible that you hear us talking about. And I go into depth in the book about who I am, what I do, and how I do what I do, and how these products work. So just give us a call or log on to our website, brand new website we just launched a few weeks ago, SafeMoneyRetirement.com. Same name, but it looks totally different. Or just give us a call, 833-413-SAFE. That's 833-413-7233. Okay. So back in July of 2018, and you can go back and look this up if you want, in the Journal of Financial Service Professionals, Patrick Tricker, who has a bunch of letters after his name, wrote an article, and the title of the article is Annuities and Moral Hazard. Can longevity insurance increase longevity? Poses a really interesting question. And in the article, I'm going to quote one really small part of the article, and then we're going to discuss it. One small part of the article says, in the United States, a 65-year-old male who purchases a life annuity can expect to live about 20% longer than a 65-year-old male who does not, end quote. Now, how is that possible? How can you live longer just because you are getting a guaranteed paycheck for the rest of your life? Well, it boils down to stress. It boils down to when you get to the retirement years and you're in the, first the go-go years, and then it kind of goes to the slow-go years, and then it goes to the no-go years. Y'all have heard me talk about that before. That's borrowing from my friend Tom Hegna. Having something that sends you a guaranteed paycheck on top of Social Security that you know you're going to get every single month, no matter what, as long as you're breathing, it just cuts down on stress. There's also, again, our website was just updated, so we just updated this as well. On the document section in the media tab of my new website, you can find the actual studies that show that having a guaranteed income is the number one thing that brings happiness in retirement. And this idea of longevity insurance, that's the thing I wanted to really, really chat about, is people don't really think about these lifelong annuities as longevity insurance. You have insurance on your home, you have insurance on your car, your motorcycle, your boat, whatever you've got, but you don't have insurance on your income. That's what longevity insurance is, and that's what these guaranteed lifetime annuities that you hear me talk about all the time, that's exactly what these are. So that's what I wanted to mention, is that this idea of longevity insurance and having that in your portfolio and knowing that you're going to have enough income moving forward, because typically what we do, and this is kind of going into the weeds, but just to give you a glimpse of what I do with my clients, the first thing we do is we make sure you're not going to have a gap. In other words, between all the incomes you have coming in once you retire and whatever your expenses are, let's make sure you're covered there. Because obviously we need to make sure your expenses are covered and actually hopefully have a little extra to play with. So you have a play check, so to speak, not just a paycheck. You actually have both, and you want that when you retire. But we all know with inflation, you're going to need more and more and more. So then the second step that I do with my clients is let's now get some money into some smaller plans that can just continue to grow and grow and grow and grow until at some point in the future you need a little more income. You can turn them on. But you've still got, let's say you did 4 smaller plans that are just continuing to grow. You turn one on, great. The other 3 are still growing. A few years later, you need some more. You turn the second on, great. The other 2 are still growing. Now the growth stops as far as the income once you turn it on, but it continues to grow until you turn it on. So that's how those work. That's getting a little bit into the weeds. But what I want you to really think about and what I want to leave you with today is the idea of longevity insurance and having insurance that is designed for your and your spouse's longevity, and something that has been proven to add about 20% to your life by not having that stress, by knowing that you've got that income. And I've actually read several articles on this that, there's some people that say, well, I don't understand why people are living longer that have a guaranteed lifetime annuity. Some people have even postulated it could be to stick it to the insurance company. I want that payment one more month. I'm not going anywhere. And if that's the reason, okay, great. Okay, if that's what keeps my dad on the planet a little longer is he wants to stick it to those insurance guys, fine. But however it is, that's a statistic that I think is really important that people should think about, because if you can do something that's going to, number 1, increase your happiness, number 2, lower your stress, and number 3, give you the possibility of living longer, why the heck wouldn't you do it? So get a copy of my book, really look and see what your options are from my website, safemoneyretirement.com. Just do your research and really understand how this idea of having longevity insurance and thinking about these guaranteed lifetime income plans that you hear me talk about every week, how they really are longevity insurance when you are looking at how you are going to have your paycheck coming in for the rest of your life. Well, I must take a short break. This is Tim Wood, and you're listening to the Safe Money Retirement Show. Let's pause for some exciting announcements.
Did you know that your Social Security could be much higher depending on which option you choose for claiming your benefit? Social Security income is more complex than some think. When should you take it? Should you only take your spouse's benefit while you continue to work? Deciding how to receive your Social Security benefits can make your head spin. Don't decide about your retirement without the facts. Call us now and ask for your complimentary Social Security guide at 833-413-SAFE. That's 833-413-7233. Your Social Security is too important to leave to chance. Call us now at 833-413-SAFE. That's 833-413-7233.
Thank you for tuning in to the Safe Money Retirement Show. I'm Tim Wood, a market risk mitigation specialist helping clients with retirement money preservation and income planning. I speak to clients every single day who have had a financial planner almost their entire life, or at least for the last little bit. For a good while, they've had a good financial planner and they've got a good, solid financial plan. Well, hallelujah, that's great. But do you have an income plan? Do you even know what an income plan is? Having a financial plan is absolutely imperative, but having an income plan in retirement is just as important, and we're going to talk about that. First, if you don't already have a copy of my book, Safe Money Retirement, Your Game Plan for Success, log right onto our website and get your own free copy at safemoneyretirement.com. This book is going to explain how you can develop an income plan along with a financial plan that will allow you to know you have enough income for the rest of your life, no matter what happens. Now, Again, we talk about having a financial plan and how important it is. And it is absolutely vital to have a financial plan, and a solid and smart and sound financial plan. Absolutely vital. And it's something that we've, worked with financial planners, hopefully since, the 70s, 80s, 90s, have a really good financial plan in place. But once you are making that transition into retirement, once you are making that change from acquisition, which is what we've done our entire lives, try to, acquire as much as we possibly can. That's the acquisition phase. Once you're making the transition from that to the distribution phase, which is exactly what it sounds like, now you are distributing or using all of the funds that you gained during the acquisition phase, that's when that income plan really becomes vitally important. Now, why is that? You've heard me say this before, and on my website, you can read an article that actually shows statistics on how in retirement, the number one thing that brings happiness is income. Having enough assets is great, but actually having assets in retirement actually brings stress, because now you're worried about whether your assets are going to be safe or not. Having enough income and knowing that you're going to have enough income, and then also having maybe some other income plans that continue to grow in order to offset inflation, that's what brings happiness in retirement. So when I say you've got a financial plan, that's fantastic. Do you have an income plan? That's what I'm talking about. Do you have a plan for how you're going to take income out of that 401k, out of that IRA, out of that TSP, out of that 403b, 457, whatever the plan is? How are you going to take income out of it? Now, if you sit down with a standard regular financial planner, they will run you, a lot of people have a lot of different things. One of them is called a Monte Carlo simulation. Basically what it is, it allows them to say, well, if there's not a major market event and you only take this amount out, then you should be okay to age 85. And of course, I'm just pulling numbers out of where. But they will give you things like that. Well, if the market doesn't have a downturn and if you don't take too many things out, that's a financial plan once you're in retirement, okay? That's where the challenge comes in. That's why you need to transition from a financial plan to an income plan. Now, is there a financial plan as part of an income plan? Of course there is. But it's a little bit different, because instead of just hoping that you're going to have enough income that if there's not a market event and if I keep making gains in the market and if I only take out this much and if, we're working on guarantees. We're saying you're going to be guaranteed this much income as long as you and your spouse are alive, as long as you live, and anything left would then go to beneficiaries. We're going to guarantee you're going to get a guaranteed rate of growth for X number of years on that money before you turn it into an income. And of course, this is something I can explain with everyone individually. The point I'm trying to get across here is having an income plan is absolutely crucial when you get into retirement. Having a solid financial plan, again, completely one thing that you've got to make sure that you have in place for your whole life. But once you're making that transition, really it starts even before you make the transition. Once you're starting to make that plan for that transition, to go from the acquisition phase to the distribution phase, that's where you need an income plan to come in, so you know that you will have enough income the rest of your life, no matter what happens with Social Security and no matter what happens with inflation. Well, I'm about out of time, and I would like to thank you for listening to the Safe Money Retirement Show. If you're serious about your financial future, give me a call, and together we'll get your retirement savings on the fast track to accumulate while reducing exposure to market loss. Thanks for listening, and until next time at the same time, I'm Tim Wood, reminding you to stay safe so you can step into a secure future.
You've been listening to the Safe Money Retirement Show with your host, Tim Wood. Find out how to contractually guarantee that your hard-earned money is safe from market losses and that you have an income you can't outlive, so you can have the retirement that you deserve. Call Tim Wood now for your complimentary Safe Money Retirement Book and Information Kit at 833-413-SAFE. That's 833-413-7233. Or request your copy of Tim's book online at safemoneyretirement.com. The preceding information does not represent tax, legal, or investment advice. Surrender charges apply to base contracts. Optional lifetime income benefit riders are used to calculate lifetime payments only and are not available for cash surrender or in a death benefit unless specified in the annuity contract. Fees may apply. Guarantees are based on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the insurance company. No information presented today should be acted upon without meeting with a qualified and licensed professional. Obviously, by calling us now, you are just taking the first step towards protecting your retirement. It's important that you read all insurance contract disclosures carefully before making a purchase decision. Rates and returns mentioned on this program are subject to change without notice.